So there I am this morning perusing the internet, deciding to look at the wrestling websites, and I see several different things, including something else I'll talk about in another video later on this evening. But I happened to come across some breaking news that apparently the WWE has featured and endeavored four superstars. Four of them. What happened to that recent report of they weren't going to try and go down this route of bad press from firing people basically? That they were just going to allow contracts to run out. Well, so much for that, apparently. The names that were future endeavored this morning were Evan Bourne, Brodus Clay, Yoshitatsu, and Camacho. Now, what does this mean? In the grand scheme of things, I guess it really doesn't mean a whole lot because let's face it, it's not like the WWE was ever really utilizing or featuring any of these four performers or four individuals, especially in recent times. However, it again represents the failures of the WWE, and it again represents the complete and utter stupidity of the WWE. And it completely, to me, totally represents the WWE failing to take any accountability for their inabilities and their failures and their shortcomings, and basically trying to crush people's dreams as a result. Let's look first at the one that's probably going to piss off most of you, Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne didn't exactly help himself, to be fair to the WWE. He was a guy that liked his synthetic weed, skippity-skip, and whoop-de-woo. But he had been healthy for a long period of time. And for some reason, the WWE just never utilized him. And he was a guy that had a following. He was a guy that some people actually liked. So I never understood that once he got done with his suspension, once he recovered from his leg injury, why the WWE never tried to bring him back. Why they never tried to utilize him. It's just like, creative is nothing for you. We're not going to try and come up with anything for you because, God forbid, that would be our jobs as a creative department. Vince McMahon and the people running the company say, we don't have anything for you, so we're just going to let you go. Why? You would think at this point in time you would be, as a company, desperate for anybody that could actually get a reaction from a crowd, and especially anybody that could get a babyface reaction from a crowd. And while I was never the biggest Evan Bourne fan, I will admit that he at least got a little bit of a reaction from the crowd. He at least got people interested in his matches, and he actually got a babyface reaction. But again, I'm sure the WWE feels they have so many guys on that side of the fence that could do that, right? This is ridiculous. And then you look at Yoshitatsu. I remember a couple of years ago we did the old Save Yoshitatsu hashtag. That got trending. That was even addressed on Raw, if you remember Michael Cole talking about it. But of course talking about it in a very misleading, misrepresenting way. And Yoshitatsu even sat there and said, "Don't worry, I'll be fine." No, Yoshi, you won't be fine. Oh, you got fired. And we tried to help. And we tried to save you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I guess some people don't care. And maybe the WWE has created an environment for a lot of these guys where, frankly, they don't care. It seems like the grass is greener on that side. It seems like it's going to be all swell and, puppies and sunshine and beer and roses. But when they get there, it realizes it's just one big steaming pile of manure, and it's nothing but a shark tank where they're at the chum and they are ultimately going to get killed. When you look at Yoshitatsu, for all I say about the treatment of black wrestlers in the WWE, which I stand by because it is 100% true, there is also no doubt in my mind, and everybody can agree with this, that they treat the Asian wrestlers just as bad, if not worse. They took Yoshitatsu and made a complete and total joke out of him. It's like every time they see a Japanese guy, he's either got to be a Tojo-like character or he's got to sit there and be an anime-type guy. They don't get it, they don't understand it, they don't care. They seem to not care about the fact that there are millions upon millions of Asian fans that would perhaps like somebody like a Yoshitatsu, and that he could actually become a star, God forbid. He had his own following on the internet, too, of people that actually liked him, people that wanted to see him, people that wanted him to succeed. I can imagine Mr. Rout is very upset about this development at this waking moment if he's found out yet. But we blame Yoshitatsu for the WWE's failures and we let him go. You look at Camacho. This is fucking Haku's son. He comes from the Tongan tradition, that island tradition, so to speak. He's a part of that whole family tree. Haku is his fucking dad. Without question, biggest badass of badasses in the history of professional wrestling. And you know who else says that? Every single badass and known badass in the history of professional wrestling. You take Camacho, who is Tongan, the son of Haku, never acknowledge the fact that he is actually the son of Haku, and you make him a fucking Mexican. Oh my God. And the WWE wonders why they fail to create new stars. Here you go, you've got a guy who's a second-generation performer, and you do anything and everything to distance him from that legacy. You didn't do that with Randy Orton. Hell, you didn't even do that with John Cena with his dad being a promoter all those years. What sense does it make when guys are second or third generation to try and depart them from that family name or lineage in any way, shape, or form? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's their first initial avenue to potentially actually being able to get over. You would think that would be the thing you would emphasize and focus on as much as not anything else. It's what the fuck you did with Randy Orton, that's for damn sure, especially those first year and a half where you didn't have a fucking clue what the hell to do with him. I bring you the Randy News Network, for example. But you took Camacho, Haku's fucking son, the baddest of badasses in the history of professional wrestling, and turned him into a barrio-loving fucking Mexican. Oh my God. And then we get to Brodus Clay. Now here's a big guy. Yes, he kind of looked like King Hippo, but here was a big guy that could move a little bit. Here's a big guy that looked different. Here's a big guy that acted different. This was a big guy that could actually stand up. This was a big guy that could have either become a monster heel that you desperately needed in the WWE, or even more so, been that monstrous babyface lovable giant that everybody wanted to get behind in the WWE. But instead of going down that path, you eventually decided to make him the Funkasaurus. And you know what he did? He took that gimmick and he ran with it. And he tried to make it work. And for a period of time, he actually got the shit over. And then, of course, ultimately, the WWE, being the ludicrous organization that it is, decided to break up the tag team they had with him and Sweet Tea. They were going to turn Brodus Clay heel, so that way, we don't know what the fuck we're going to do with them. Remember some of you asshats that were trying to tell me that this was going to lead to bring big things for Brodus Clay, and I said, I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, this is exactly why. Now we're here in June, and he's been fucking future endeavored by the company. How in the hell of all people could you screw up Brodus fucking Clay? Ow! You would think this big motherfucker that could actually get a reaction, that had some talent, that actually had some charisma and personality, would be perfect for the WWE. But instead they decided, apparently, that creative had nothing for him, and it was just better off to let him go and wish him the best in his future endeavors. You released Evan Bourne, Camacho, Yoshitatsu, and Brodus Clay. 4 guys that never really got a fair shake in the WWE, especially with 3 of them. Maybe you could argue Evan Bourne got a little bit more of a chance. But 4 guys that could have actually potentially contributed something. And because of the infrastructure of the WWE, because of the stupidity of the WWE, because of the cycle of always wanting to do the same old crap and never wanting to grow the company, they become just the latest victims. You know, I wonder at this point in time, other than getting money, what purpose would there be for a lot of these guys to go to the WWE? Why would you want to go there? Why would you want to go where you are obviously going to be limited by the executive management at the top, and you're going to be limited by the creative team in terms of what you can ever do or what you can ever accomplish? Vince always sits there and spins this bullshit about opportunity and opportunity. Well, what opportunity do you ever really give Camacho? Frankly, whatever opportunity did you really give Yoshitatsu? He gave Evan Bourne some opportunity. Evan Bourne made some mistakes and kind of screwed up that opportunity, but you didn't give him another opportunity, one last chance to maybe make it right. And then Brodus Clay, who you gave an opportunity, he did something with, you yanked it away, you gave him another opportunity, he did something with that too, just so that way you could yank that opportunity away, rob him of any other opportunity, so that way you could just eventually future endeavor him. You know, maybe instead of me having to sit there on a morning like this and read about the superstars that are being future endeavored, maybe it's time the WWE start firing some of the people in the offices. Maybe it's time to see people like Kevin Dunn and George Barrios be future endeavored. Maybe it's time to see people like Michael P.S. Hayes be future endeavored. Because maybe it's not these guys that are the problem. Maybe it's those guys that I just named that are. It's just some food for thought with the WWE. I guess I shouldn't be surprised but it just, again, speaks to the environment of the WWE today and just how ridiculous this fucking organization is.